Right then, we are back and we are kicking the day off with a rematch from 1997's Halloween Havoc as Ultimo Dragon takes on Yuji Nagata. It's so cool. I mean, it's weird with WCW. When you look back at WCW, they have got some of the possibly worst things I've ever seen in wrestling, but they also had some of the coolest stuff as well. I mean, seeing guys like this, like Ultimo Dragon versus Yuji Nagata on a WCW pay-per-view, just shows how different they were to WWE at the time, and they still are now. I mean, WWE or WWF at the time are very much their own isolated sort of thing, completely separated out from the world. I mean, they've got better at it recently with sharing some of their talent with the likes of GCW, and of course, the AAA doesn't really count to me because they're owned by the same people, but letting people work for GCW and Marigold and so forth, they're starting to do that now. But the fact that WCW were just bringing guys like Ultimo Dragon and Yuji Nagata in, they brought in some of the top females like Manami Toyota, Akira Hakoto, people like that. Jushin Thunder Liger, I think was just really, really cool at the time. And I don't know if it was actually appreciated much at the time they were doing stuff like this, but I mean, this match was good. I mean, the problem is with this match is it was a good match, but it was overshadowed because it was on the same card as Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero. And of course, everyone talks about how great that match was, and this match sort of is not really spoken about much. I mean, on Cage Match now, this was the second highest rated match on the card behind only Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. In fairness though, some of the matches on the card were rated terribly. I mean, there was one match that was rated 0.6 out of 10 and given a quarter of a star, and that was Jacqueline versus Disco Inferno, which went nearly 10 minutes, which is the saddest thing. This is even worse, right? Jacqueline versus Disco Inferno went 3 seconds longer than Yuji Nagata versus Ultimo Dragon. That's a bit of a travesty. It really, really is, I must admit. You had Chris Jericho versus Jito on the card as well, which wasn't rated very highly, I must admit. Alex Wright versus Steve McMichael in a match that lasted 6.5 minutes and was given minus half a star by Wrestling Newsletter. Yeah, the main event was a 0.9 out of 10, was not even rated by Newsletter because it was that bad, and it was Hulk Hogan versus Roddy Piper in a steel cage match. So yeah, it was a very up and down card. It had some incredible moments, it had some awful moments, but this is one of the ones that, like I said, doesn't get spoken about enough. It's probably a bit like, this is a really stupid way of saying it, but you might agree with me, I don't know, but a bit like WrestleMania 3. When you talk about WrestleMania 3, everyone talks about Hogan versus Andre, when really, you had Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat on that card. That was an absolutely incredible match, but because it was overshadowed by, obviously, the big thing that happened with Hogan, Body Slam, and Andre, which in fairness, he did many, many times before in Japan, before he did it at WrestleMania 3. That's all people talk about, and that other match is just not really spoken about. And I think this could be the same situation. I mean, I don't think this was the best match we've ever seen in the entire world, but it's one that maybe should have seen more love, but is just not really thought about because of the whole Mysterio-Guerrero match. But there you go, that's my spiel. As Ultimo now with the Asai Moonsault. And as you saw, and Ultimo made his entrance, he is the current All-Asian Champion. This is not an All-Asian Championship title match. However, if Yuji Nagata was to win, he would be, I would imagine, considered the number one contender. We've done that in the past. If you pin the champion, like we saw with Yota Tsuji against Moxley last week, if you pin the champion, you get the opportunity to fight for the championship, and it worked terrifically well for Yota Tsuji, so it could work here for Yuji Nagata as well, who knows? It's a lot of ifs and buts, I know. But of course, Ultimo Dragon won that All-Asian Championship only a few weeks ago, back at Invasion. He defeated the, at the time, champion Giant Baba and the Great Muta in a triple threat match, and that was on paper, that was an incredible match, wasn't it, really? And Ultimo Dragon did become our 7th ever All-Asian Champion. It's a strong lineage for that belt as well, you know. Kicked off with Go Shiozaki. We had Hiroshi Tanahashi, Antonio Inoki, Mitsuharu Misawa, the Great Khali, Giant Baba, and now Ultimo Dragon. It's been a fantastic title lineage there. Probably one of the best title lineages we have for any belt in SWE, in fairness. Both guys back up to their feet. Ultimo Dragon went for the strike. Nagata caught him and looking for that big belly-to-belly, launching Ultimo over the shoulder, should I say. Ultimo Dragon now got caught with the right hand in the face. And look at that. Oh, big high angle backdrop. Dropping him neck first. Really painful. And a handspring back elbow. There's a slap in the face by Yuji Nagata. Blue Justice. Who was it Nagata faced on an AEW pay-per-view? It was, it was Eddie Kingston, was it? Or was it John Moxley? I can't remember now. Yuji Nagata. Yuji Nagata. Very highly rated. 9.1 out of 10 on Cage Match. Very, very popular wrestler. And I don't know a ton about him, to be honest. I know he was very well thought of. But he's just not someone I've seen a lot of his career. Maybe someone might have to consider when we do our G1 Climax again in the new year, when we look to do the All-Asian tournament. I think someone we'll have to maybe consider adding into it. Matches then in AEW. He's had tons of matches, hasn't he, really? Across all companies. When was it? Was it back in 2023? I can't even find it. I'm sure. I got a feeling it was either Eddie Kingston or John Moxley. It was Bryan Danielson. Okay, ignore me though. Yuji Nagata wrestled Bryan Danielson back on Saturday, January the 27th. I didn't say what year that was. I'm assuming last year. Did I just search for AEW in there? I can. Okay, he's had 2 matches then. He had one against John Moxley, for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. That was back in 2021. And he wrestled Bryan Danielson beginning of 2024 as well. Of course, he is in his late 50s now, but still working a hell of a lot for New Japan, looking at it. I mean, he's wrestled twice. Oh no, that's wrong, right? He's wrestled quite a lot of matches this year so far. I mean, there's a way of looking at the match statistics. In 2025 so far, he's had 33 matches, which is more than he wrestled last year. Get him back in the ring. We don't want any count-outs here, people. Ultimo now going to take Yuji Nagata up into the powerbomb position. Running sit-out Liger bomb. There's the pin for the 1, the 2. Oh, only a 2 count. And now Ultimo now with a sliced bread, using the ropes to his advantage, hooks the legs for the pin. Yuji Nagata looks down. You see how heavy he's breathing, but it's still only a 2 count. Ultimo Dragon now. There's a dropkick right in the side of the head of Yuji Nagata. And stalking him. There's the strikes, the kicks, a bit of everything. One in the gut and then in with the DDT. There's the pin, and it seems like just a matter of time here before it's going to be a victory to Ultimo Dragon, because he's dominating quite a bit here, isn't he? Ultimo Dragon now with the elbow. There's the boot in the shin, one in the gut, and then in with a DDT once again. There's the pin for the 1, 2, and oh, still only a 2 count. It's freaking close though. Really close. Ultimo stalking once again, looking for that sliced bread. But Nagata takes him down, has the arm wrenched back. Ultimo Dragon back up there, went to catch Nagata. Nagata was able just to duck out of the way. Ultimo Dragon though once again using the ropes to his advantage as he does. Spins around with a head scissor takedown. There's the pin now for the 1, 2. Oh, still only a 2 count. Nagata's been busted open now though. Ultimo there with a drop kick. I don't think Nagata even sold that, to be honest. He's back up, but Ultimo Sends him into the corner. Is he thinking sliced bread again? I think he was thinking it, but... Nagata now Blue Justice taking him up in with a brain buster. And there is the pin for the 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Nagata's in control now, just stamping on their head. That stiff strike. Ultimo Dragon dropped like a sack of spuds. And now wrenching back at the arm. Ultimo Dragon's in trouble here. He must be thinking, though, there's only so long you can sit in one of those arm bars before it becomes too dangerous. And knowing that if you lose this match, you don't lose your championship, but you will have to defend it against Nagata in the future. Maybe submitting to an arm bar is not the worst situation, rather than taking a long-term damage and struggling that way. It's difficult. You've got to think about longevity as well when your championship's not on the line. But then again, you've also got to think, especially with this game, about momentum. You get pinned by someone like that and all of a sudden the momentum is firmly in their favour for when the rematch comes for the actual title. So it's a real balancing act. Nagata with a boot in the gut. Ultimo Dragon fighting back with the elbows. Lovely spinning heel kick. Dropped in with a leg drop as well. Oh, look at that running boot. Wow. Nagata willing... Oh, Ultimo back up to his feet. Caught him with a kick. Now stalking Ultimo Dragon. Yuji Nagata. No, Dragon slid out the back. And there's a reverse Dragon Sleeper hold. And Ultimo Dragon gets the submission victory with that reverse Dragon Sleeper. Very impressive victory there by Ultimo Dragon. Nothing for Yuji Nagata to be embarrassed about. He was absolutely fantastic as well. It was a fun match, that was. Ultimo Dragon picks up his 3rd singles win of the year. Moves up to a +6 after 11 matches. Yuji Nagata... that was only his 2nd ever match in SWE, and both of them have been this year as well. Okay, so he drops down to a -2 after 2, both matches in 2025. Disappointing for him to be -2 for 2, but he's definitely someone we could use more often, and somebody who I think would... like I said, I think when we get around to doing our G1 once again, I think he's someone we could definitely get some use out of. Based on just, I mean, I didn't realise he was rated so highly. Over on Cage Match, yeah, he's got an average rate of 9.11. He's got no rating lower than a 6, to be honest with you. Majority of his ratings are 10 out of 10. But the longevity of his career as well, he debuted back in 1992. Been wrestling for 33 years and still going strong to this day. Wow, well, there we go. It was impressive by Yuji Nagata, but it was just one step too far to defeat our current All-Asian champion, Ultimo Dragon, who shows exactly why he's holding that belt. Absolutely incredible year from Ultimo so far. And he continues to build up his stocks here in SWE. Right, that is it for now. Later on today, we'll have a bit of War Games for you. We'll have the Ministry of Darkness, the Undertaker, the Acolytes, and Midian making his debut in SWE. Going up against the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Braun Strowman. I'll see you all there. Bye-bye.